Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Once again, I'm Nev from Nev's Tech, but today I want to have a look at my backup system, my Z210 HP system, 9 years old, i7, and still has some goodness running through it. Let's check this girl out. I can't believe how long we've managed to make computers last these days. Of course, since our CPUs aren't getting much bigger, we're just throwing more dies on top of them. I use this thing all the time to back up and restore hard drives. Got about 16 gigs of RAM in there, and I actually have laptop RAM inside of standard RAM adapters. Look at that. They look so silly. They look so strange sitting up on top. They stand so high. You definitely gotta have a big thick computer on the back for that kind of stuff. So what I want to do today is give this girl a test and see if she can still keep up with some of the latest or some of the greatest video games. I should say, when I am not backing up, I use World Community Grid on this unit to throw back to society if I can. Okay, so right out the gate here we have 16 gigabytes RAM, i7 2600, quad-core operating at 3.40 gigahertz, and we have an Intel HD graphics. Wow. Okay, honestly, I thought the onboard graphics would be a bit better than that, but just to see how far we can push this thing, I'm going to be putting in a 1030 video card and seeing how far we can get with that. First off, let's see how we can do with this, with what we have. Let's try a benchmark. This is Passmark Benchmark 10. I'll be right back when it gets to the video portion. Alright, here's the DirectX 9 test. With just the internal card, we have 12 frames per second max. That ain't looking so good for the future tests. Oh wow, DirectX 10 is not doing too good, about 3 frames per second. Once again, internal card. Yeah, we don't have any DirectX 11 or 12 on this one. Let's get the readout and then test some games and then put it in a video card. Okay, that is pretty low. That's the lowest score I've ever gotten. That's lower than the Lenovo 0830 Core 2 with SSD and 4 gigabytes of RAM. That can't be right. That must have been off the Passmark 9. Anyways, let's plug in a video card and see how much better we can do. But first, I want to see if I can actually get any video games to work on this at all. Okay, I'm running about 9 frames a second. If I'm standing still, I can get 30 frames per second. I'm amazed I can do anything in this game without a video card. But I'm starting to think Grand Theft Auto 5 will play on absolutely anything. Alright, get in there and make me some chicken tendies. Jeez. This is not responsive. Left, right, left. Huh. Alright, next up, Fortnite. That's a big nope on the Fortnite. It looks like Fortnite needs DirectX 11 or 12. Okay, next up, let's test it out with a GeoForce GT1030. Some of my viewers have told me that the reason it's called 1030 is because it can do anything in 30 frames per second. Now let's check it out. Alright, so we got 33 frames per second. Perfect, just like my YouTube buddies told me. 30 frames per second on the 1030. Not so bad. Up next, we got the floaty planeties. Once again, 35 frames per second. Oh, it just dropped down to 18 as soon as I mentioned something, though. Still, she's got the power this time. Got the space jellyfish going at 57 frames per second. Not so bad. And here we're blasting away with the DirectX 12 at 45 frames per second. I gotta say, the 1030 isn't the nicest one, but it definitely is a lot better than just becoming an adapter. Now the 710 might be a little bit different, but this thing is definitely giving more power than the onboard could. I think it's just about time that we tried out Grand Theft Auto and Fortnite on it. Alright, that's a much better score. I get new computers that come in without video cards that get scores like this frequently. So this is a contender to be, this 9-year-old computer is a contender to be your main workstation, depending on how heavy your stuff you do. But this'll handle more than your average amount of downloads and Facebook and YouTube and whatever. Let's try some video games out. Alright, and just like that, I'm up to 30 frames per second from 9 frames per second, and looking pretty good. Nice and smooth, no issues, probably looking better than the Xbox One. Alright guys, get in there and make me some chicken tendies. Oh, that is so much. This feels good. This feels so good. Alright, you seeing that? I'm getting 60 frames per second here. I'm not having any problems. Yeah, so when the cinematics come around, we get down to about 30 frames per second, and then we move up about 30 frames per second. Yeah, it's in at 30 frames per second. 1030 means 30 frames per second. Okay, so here are the defaults that Fortnite has set us up with. The auto set is set for high quality, 3 resolution at 100% viewing distance at set far, shadowing high, anti-aliasing high, textures high, effects high, post-processing high. So that's pretty good considering how old this system is. Now let's see how it feels compared to the Xbox. I'm used to playing it there. Yep, Fortnite is definitely playing very smoothly. I was having some issues to begin with, a little bit of lag here and there, but now it seems to have worked itself out. And I'm pretty impressed by it. This is definitely a relatively good system in this day and age for not hardcore gaming, but if you absolutely had to get by, then this will do you. To get doing the good games, you have to have at least quad-core, and then you have to have a video card, and this is working out nice. It definitely looks a lot better than the Xbox does. It's really nice. It's real nice. I definitely recommend if you want to get this used and upgraded, it definitely has potential to be used as a gamer machine, and it definitely has a lot of space within the inside of it for the average tech guy to use it for fixing other computers, which is really nice. Wow, 9 years old and she's still rocking. She can still play games relatively well. Better than the Xbox, that's for sure. 9 years! Something really happened to Moore's Law, folks, and what happened is this. Transistors kept getting smaller and smaller, and electricity isn't working with them in a predictable way, and because of that, we're having issues making transistors any smaller. Moore's Law just got thrown out the window, ladies and gentlemen, and because of that, the market is flooded with a whole lot of computers that will still work perfectly good, just as long as the fans aren't worn out. For the most part, all that you have to worry about is the fan and the hard drive, the spinning hard drives. You got to upgrade to an SSD. The motherboards don't ever wear out on these things. I've never heard of a motherboard wearing out on its own unless something fried and took the motherboard with it. In those situations, I could see that happening. But ultimately, we're in a situation where 10-year-old computers are still good today. And if you get a fast computer, it might last you 10 years as long as you treat it right. For memory, you have to pay the right amount of money for it. This HP was one of the good ones. Now, HP purchased Compaq, and then a lot of their quality dropped to crud. But if you get the Z units, ZZ, wherever you're from, then you're getting somewhat better quality. I'm just amazed that I can still use this so well. It does everything I need. It's awesome. Anyways, definitely recommend it, folks. Pick this one up. Get at least a 1030 video card for it, and you'll be good to go. Anyways, folks, that's it for me, Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Like, subscribe if you like this stuff. It's always appreciated. And as always, folks, take care of each other.